Okay, so I just wanted to come back, finish up where we last left off in the intraday analysis or whatnot. So this is still USD JPY. I'm going to shortly move over to USD CHF. But anyways, this is a previous move where a lot of things just stacked up, and it resulted in a really big move here. Um, so one thing that you'll notice, and this is with the free charts. Remember, I told you guys about the trend lines, the white lines. So if I go to daily, you're going to see it right here, this white line. Well, that's still there, it's still present here. It's just a zoomed in version of that same line. So, in other words, for each one of these bars on the daily chart, you've got, what is this? It's not 24, it's less than that. I'm lying. It is 24. I'm tripping actually. So it's 24 bars represented in that one bar, 24-hour bars, obviously. The way where I'm messed up is on Sunday, it's only open for half a day, and on the weekends, the Forex market is closed. So I assumed, I'm thinking stock market, man, where they close at 4 p.m. Eastern. So, anyways, y'all get the point. So this drop down and this touch of this white line is actually, I believe it's this one right here, August, maybe. Let's see. No, this is all the way in November. I'm tripping. So November, that was recent. So we're actually looking at this. So these couple bars and this movement right here. See, it's the same 524. You see that? Risk reward 524 right here. This is this movement. Let me highlight it so you guys can kind of see it. I know when I was first starting out, that was a huge help to be able to kind of see the entirety of it. What's the best tool I can do for this? Let me see. Let me try this one. Let me see if this does what I want it to do. Okay, cool. Actually, I'm gonna do this so I can change the color. Make it yellow like that. All right, cool. So I want to go from, you see this bar? That's crazy right there, man. I'm gonna go from the setup bar, which is like right in here. I'll even go down here. One, two, three, four, 5 bars. And we dropped all the way down to the white line. So if I go here to the hourly chart, you're gonna see a whole lot. You see this? So it doesn't line up completely. Uh, what is that? Vertically. But if I do this and I stop there at the beginning of this day, we're going to be able to kind of look for setups and see this is the same exact stuff we were talking about. Here's that head and shoulder. Let me draw this head and shoulder in for you because we can do that here. Pretty cool little tool. This is why I love these charts, man. So before Tradingview, anybody will tell you, man, the industry was full of, at least the retail industry was full of BS charts, man. Nothing really good for retail people. So that's a head and shoulders. You see these triangles, 1, 2, 3, and then it broke down right here, went sideways a little bit, dropped a little bit, came back. So this is it breathing, catching its breath to go down further. I love this play. I love how all these lines, this pink line, 200 EMA, this red line, the 50 EMA, and this orange line, which represents the pivot for this day, the 15th of November, if you want to go back and look. I highly encourage you follow with me and write this stuff in so you can kind of see it appear for your own self. and on your own example. Anyways, pull back and it dropped like crazy. So we're good on that example. I'm going to show you, so I flagged this because on the daily, I was thinking, okay, we're at this same level. So I remember I wrote this in here. We're at a pretty important level where price likes to kind of react. So I was looking for, after this pull up, I was thinking it was going to maybe drop a little bit or whatever. Whenever these labels pop up, I'm going to figure out how to do that one day. Anyways, how to fix that. So I was thinking it was going to come up, settle here, roll over, come back down, and land right around the 50 EMA. So let's kind of see if we have anything that tells us the same. I really like this little run up, shooting past it, kind of coming up, dropping down, and then coming back to breathe. This might have been an entry, to be real with you, and that was yesterday when I made the other video. So I might have missed where I really wanted to get in here, which happens, whatever. But even if I got in with the entry that I like using, which is putting it right there on that blue line, notice how price did not touch that blue line. So if I point at what I want you to look at, it would be this white wick right there. Man, I pull it to the front. Bring to front. Okay. So it's right there. And so my entry's here, which means I wouldn't have got triggered. I like setting traps. That's what I do. So some people teach live entries. Some people set traps, as they say, with like a limit order or whatever. That's what I like doing. So it didn't happen here. That's fine. Sometimes you have a setup and your entry doesn't get triggered, and it's not a big deal. It's just part of the game. It really is. That's really risky. So I noticed this too. So when you look at this drop down, let me see if I can get rid of some of this stuff. Hide that for a second. Okay. Now I need my pivots back. Okay, here we go. So you notice this movement up. We're coming off of this low from this other play that we just talked about. And we come up, we drop down. It's ballsy, and I had 1, 2, 3 bars to be paying attention and get in. But I could have actually got in right here off of a pivot order, and that would have looked like this. Right? And then that'd be my stop. But check out the 1-to-1 ratio is off on this day. So my target would have had to been like based on me assuming that things were going to really drop in. Not the best way for me to trade personally. I don't really like it. We'll go over some advanced breakout type of stuff that Irek Piekarski teaches and IP. Well, he taught it through IP when he was there first. So those two. But we'll talk about that later. But that's like catching a falling knife kind of circus trick on this. I don't really like it, but all right. So I promise we go on to the next. There's a lot to uncover, man. That's why I like to take my time and go through the setup. So looking through them initially isn't much. It's really when you start going through the setups where you start seeing everything. Okay, now everything's back. All right, excuse me. USD CHF. This is notorious for being kind of a not the cleanest pair. You'll see what I mean by that later. Um, but I noticed that the other day that it was kind of sitting on the 50 EMA and maybe it would bounce up. It did bounce heavy today, so we might be late, um, but that's okay. The key to the game early on, man, is to recognize that you saw the entire play. And then you start working on, okay, I can see it now. Can I hit it? Like, again, a baseball analogy. Can I see a 90-mile-per-hour fastball? Am I able to track it? Am I able to see where it's going? Am I able to really follow it? What about a curveball? What about a slider? Okay, now I'm going to start trying to hit, right? Now I'm going to start actually swinging and getting that part down. But let's first like track it. So the reason I call this not as clean of a pair is because these white wicks are long and it makes the chart look a certain way, a little bit different. Nothing really clean, no real clean setup for an entry here. We saw a little sideways action here, maybe could have bounced here, but even if I put a place order here, that red line is above where I want it to be. This pink line is above where I want it to be. I really want those two to cradle the price action under here so that I can feel like, okay, there's some kind of resistance for it to, or I'm sorry, support for it to bounce off of as it goes up. So that's it. We're done with that pair. It's that quick. Whenever there's not an entry, there's not an entry, man. There's not nothing. It doesn't have to be long and complicated. I do like this. So this is a previous level that I drew in, sideways horizontal. So, and these are called key levels, key support resistance levels. Why did I draw it there? Because it touched a lot there. 1, 2, 3, 4, almost went through it, came back. I'm expecting it to bounce off of that. To be honest, I really think it's going to go down. That's my own bias in how I'm looking at this. So then when I go to the 1 hour chart, I'm looking for an opportunity to take this short. I do see this. That's almost MACD divergence, but not really, because this piece here, this piece lower, higher, lower. But this right here is way higher than this right here. So what am I talking about? Let me show you. So we do this right here, man. And listen, man, the reason I'm doing it on the free chart is because I'm trying to level with y'all. This is real. This is my real trading journey. I'm earning money. I'm actually reinvesting everything so that I can trade and upgrade all my stuff and all that good stuff, man. Sometimes you catch L's. I caught an L, and now I'm bouncing back. But that does not mean that I can't at least come here and teach you guys what I know and what has worked for me in Forex. So let me show you this here. This and this is divergent. Make it a little more plain. These two levels are divergent, opposite of what's going on screen. This says that this level's higher, this level's lower. This says this level's lower, this level's higher. It's the opposite. You always want to go with the indicator as far as MACD goes and using MACD divergence. So I'm expecting this to drop off. Guess what? It did. It dropped right here, right here. Was there an entry? That's a whole nother story. Was there a way to get in and catch this falling knife? You see how it came up right here and then two big red candles down. That's a hard one. And there's ways, there's people who do catch those. I don't really have a way to catch that right now because I don't have a setup that coincides with what this is showing me right here. It doesn't match with anything that I just went over with catching it off of the pivot line or the 50 MA or stacking confluence or any of that. So anyways, on top of that right now, so that's a lesson for this. But if I look at this chart, I don't really see anything that I want to trade, but I do see trend line. It starts all the way back here and goes something like this. And this is really, really an art, to be honest with you, man. It's kind of, you use your discretion and try to be as fair and as honest as you can with it. So I could have put that line right there. I could have put it like this. I started way back here, closer, I should say. Right now, it looks like it stopped short up here. There's a lot of different ways to do this whole trend line stuff. And to be 100% with you, I'm not sure. I look for a clean one, but I don't. And I try to go through the same levels, either using the body of the candle, which is the red or green area, or use the extremity of the wick, which is the white area. I try to stay and pick one of those to kind of touch and live off of here. But I think I'm going to go with the second one. I think I'm going to do body here. Actually, I'm going to leave both because when I leave both, I can at least be aware. So the thing about trend lines, key levels, all that stuff, they don't have to necessarily be so precise because, again, you're drawing it. So it's all based on opinion. You're trading traders, so other traders have to have that same opinion. I really kind of use it as an indicator for, all right, Jordan, pay attention when it gets to this level. Take it another step further and put this, you see this plus sign? I can click that and add an alert. So that means when the price drops down to this level, I'll receive an email or a text message. I think email on the free one. I used to get the text messages. See, you can do all this. Or even the app. I didn't know they had an app. Now that's perfect. Anyways, I get an alert that says look at your chart, and I would kind of be able to watch the price action, try to see how it reacts to those levels. I like to make trades once the reaction is already there, or once the reaction is already there, and then I can go with the momentum. Okay. Let me see here. Back to my chart. We got one more, so we're going to go ahead and show that out in this video. Give me 1 second. All right, anyways, nothing really here yet, but I will continue to watch it. Let's see what we got here. Why did I pick this? Why did I say that we should watch this? Okay, so this came off of some downward move. Remember I said something about the head and shoulder thing. I can see it here. Again, even though there's like 2 shoulders right there on the left side. I don't know why it drew it like that. That's kind of funky. Let me see. It wants it to be like perfect like that. I hate it when it does that, man. None of this stuff is perfect. It doesn't need to be. They definitely don't want me to. And that's the reality of it. Maybe it's just a sloppy head and shoulder. Trying to use this indicator to show you the neckline. The neckline is like right in here somewhere, man. Okay, so when it breaks this line, this is, yeah, in theory, I got it, but it looks bad on the chart. Just pay attention to this this orange line right here, this horizontal that was there before I even drew all that shit. So, sorry for cursing. I'm trying to keep it clean on this channel for the most part. So, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Ugly. It's an ugly head and shoulder, but it is. There's even another left shoulder. So, left, head, right shoulder, and then it went up. And so we'd say the neckline is like right in this area. Cool. So it went up. Looks like it hit the 200 EMA, pulled back, and then went up some more. Right now it's kind of chilling up here. I don't know what it's going to do, to be honest, but it looks like there was a lot of movement and there's some momentum there. So maybe I can catch the wave and uh, grab a couple percentage points off of this. I don't really see it. I don't really see anything open here. This is like um, a flag, really nasty looking one. It's kind of like something like this. You kind of see it squeezing in. It's big. This right here would be the pole for the flag, and then it just kind of like an accordion, just narrowing down. So maybe it just springs out of there. I don't know. This is one of those plays for sure that you just want to kind of sit and let it develop and then get on the right side of it if you can. That's how I would play it at least. So we'll get into that a little bit later. This is not a setup that I trade, but this is a setup that I'm always open to watch because you can learn. That's the best way to learn. Don't trade the setups that you don't trade. You just trade the stuff that you do trade, but you also watch other setups until you get comfortable with them, and then you can start trading those as well. All right. And that's it from the list that we marked as red.